All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Wednesday, July 21st, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back for our afternoon meeting. Whew, I'm out of breath. I was rushing right to my desk. I thought I'd be a minute late to begin. Normally, I'm out of breath by the end of this meeting. Great to see all of our students: Skip, Alphonse, Ron, Lori, Debbie, Dave. Great to see everybody alike, and all of us on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube. Whew. Gotta catch my breath here. Jeez. All right, so with that in mind, we have the Phase 2 class finishing up later on today at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And with that, let's go right into our picks. The CEMI stock right now, I literally in the last second or two just got stopped out on the second half of my position. 630 was a really strong level from earlier today. And with that, it ended up breaking above it just before. I was hoping for support. I jumped in right from 631. I got out at 652 or 51 on the first half. And right now, this thing is coming right back down. So I'll put it on our watch list. But for a stock that's up 200+% still and a lot more beforehand, normally it's pretty much done with. So we'll hope. But if it ends up dying off later on, then it won't really be too much of a surprise. All right. All right, so let's start from the top now. Geez, I'm gonna have to work through this here. But NURO, we'll talk about NURO a bit here. We have class coming up, so I'd normally zip right through, but we're not going to put this on our watch list for the afternoon. But this stock ended up making a huge pop, as you could see. I mean, right away after the market opened up. Normally, we'd expect to see the stock pull back at first, probably see a bit of profit taking for a stock that's up over 100+% from yesterday. And I mean, man, this thing, once it got halted, here's the scary part on this trade. It got halted, which isn't like too scary, but it was halted for about like 45 to 50 minutes, maybe even more. Let's see. A little bit less. 9:32, it got halted, and then it reopened up 25 minutes later at 9:58. I don't know why it took that long. I thought at first, like a shoot from the hip guess, could have been like news in relation to a common stock offering. Let me just check that right now really quickly. But obviously, ended up making this huge pop afterwards. Got halted over and over and over. I mean, it makes it untradeable, right? Unless if you were in from earlier in the pre-market and held on, it honestly made it impossible to try and jump in, at least initially. You had to wait for this to pull back down. And even there, you can't guarantee it's going to continue to go up. I mean, it moved from 5 to 12 yesterday, ran overnight into the morning here today. And just like we said before with the CEMI stock, you can't keep expecting it to push up and up forever. Looks like, just checking the news here, at least from the market open, if there was news in relation to the halt. But I don't see anything. The only headline I have here, and this is just in relation to the initial run up on NURO, it's just the same headline that we had: FDA approval for treating symptoms of fibromyalgia in adults. I think I was wrong with the treatment yesterday. I may have said anemia, fibromyalgia. I believe that's what it is. So, nonetheless, ended up making this huge parabolic pop over and over. Right now, it's just so choppy. It makes it like really tough to try and trade, really tough to get a grasp on the order book. So, if you're looking to gamble, then this could be the type of stock for you, but we are not here to gamble. So, see what else we got, at least going across the gainers list. LEXX, kind of similar to NURO in the sense of the order book, at least, much cheaper. Ended up making a nice spike up after the open, made this consolidation, and then eventually rebroke resistance off of 9. Ended up moving. I think it got halted a couple of times as well, this Lex trade. Ended up pushing up towards over 12. Volume died off really quickly from there, and the rest was history. So, maybe keep these, stocks in mind: Lex, CEMI, NURO. Keep them in mind going into the remainder of this week. I mean, CEMI's on the main list for right now, but we'll see what else we can get. The MRIN trade, I wasn't going to guarantee it being today, mind you, but for as much as this stock pumped up back in the end of June, it dumped all the way back down. This is why we say keep these stocks in mind. So I think it was one of us, Norman, if not mistaken, called out the pop going into the early morning, right from 10 o'clock. And right when it dumps back down, normally you'd think, that's it. That's the end of the show, right? I mean, more often than not, it will, and eventually it could break lower. But this ended up spiking up again, ended up breaking above the high of the day off of like 925, 930-ish, and from there it took off. So it's a stock that made a really nice move, and for right now, although dumping back down, I'll put it on our list And if I look at MRIN, then I have to look at BLIN. They don't really, I mean, they did trade side by side, not carbon copy of one another. So, it's just to say that both are moving up right now. BLIN looks stronger here at this exact second, but we'll put both on our main list for the meantime. All right, so let's see what else we got. Here's BLIN anyway, number 15 on the gainer side here. Let's see what else we got, though. XAIR. I feel like I named that hair, Zaire. Ended up making this spotty move on the 1 minute chart. It's at the highs. I like that. But spread, little wacky, up and down, light order book. It's not a huge priority just yet. This MMAT trade, formerly known as Torchlight, right? TRCH back in midway of June, saw this stock pump up, dump down. And again, much like we said on MRIN, it's not like we're going to throw these in the garbage and just move on and that's it. We're never going to trade them again. So if they ended up making a really nice pop at one point, then at least it's something to think about the next time you see big volume coming in, the stock moving up or down, the gainers or losers list respectively. Here on MMAT, I think Rich called this out when we were teaching, when we were in class in the phase 2 course, ended up making the bounce more so than anything and ended up breaking higher above 4. But for right now, pretty flat. Definitely keep it in mind for tomorrow, perhaps for remainder of the week. DQ. I don't think this is Dairy Queen. I was going to say, I think they have their own ticker though. All right, so you know what? I may as well jump to it. I'll get to it right now and get it out the way. So we'll talk a little Bitcoin right now, folks. Cannon, Mara, Riot, all of these blockchain or Bitcoin mining affiliated stocks are up today, moving with Bit. So let's just take a quick look on that. I'm not going to take too much time on it. And I say that, I mean, hey, look, we had a really nice pop, but from where we left off Monday afternoon, this vertical line is where we left off on Bitcoin. It ended up continuing to drop off a little bit more. And I told you folks back on Monday overnight, I ended up jumping in. I bought $1,000 worth right around 31.6. In relation to the drop off, I guess I could have waited, but I wasn't really concerned long term or long term, let alone short term. I was interested in adding more if it kept dropping, but nonetheless, here we are now, and a nice squeeze across the last 16 to 18 hours perhaps. But for right now, look at where it's at right now. You can see on the hourly chart, this orange line represents the 500 exponential moving average. We were watching this 2 to 3 weeks ago, failed to pop here finally. Well, it came right back down to break lower, and we knew that was a strong possibility after failing here. So we're kind of back up here, and we're probably going to shake around for a little while longer before we potentially finally break over this EMA line. But, again, there's news coming out across the next 48 hours in relation to Bitcoin. I know that Elon Musk, I know Jack Dorsey, Cathie Wood, the three of them are set to have this big conference, this big speaking or interview. So we'll find out a little bit more in relation to what perhaps Jack Dorsey's looking to do with Bitcoin at that point. And then on top of that, I know that Twitter earnings are tomorrow afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. So alongside Twitter, a couple of other major name brand companies, I think UAL mixed in there, but perhaps we'll see one of these major companies, if not Jack himself and Twitter, look to add Bitcoin to the balance sheet. When that happens, not a matter of if, in my opinion, I think it's a matter of when. When that happens, we'll get our next big rally. All right. Probably going to see some consolidation here for a little bit, then perhaps a final clean burst over the 500 on the hourly. But that leaves me to Riot, that leaves me to Cannon, that leaves me to Mara. Looks like Cannon seems to be the sharpest mover of them, at least at this time of the day. Mara's already dumping off. For these stocks, I will say, and for anyone new joining these streams or joining our trading room live, when I go over Bitcoin, and whenever I see Riot, Mara, etc. at the highs and up big, we rarely ever see them make a big clean run from this point into the close. So Mara's already dumping off a little bit, already crapping out the other way. For what it's worth, Cannon is still holding its own, although kind of making a lower high still. Out of all of them, I don't mind adding Cannon to our list, given that one is the most liquid of them, also the cheapest. But if you trade Riot or Mara and do pretty well on them, then I wouldn't be surprised if you add it to your personal watch list at that point. BTU, this has been more of a swing trade than anything. I guess sans the big drop that we had on Friday, but man, this thing's been on a roll the last 2 weeks, really the last month. And today it ended up making another nice pop after the market opened up. Slow, steady trend from that point as it grinded up from 670 up towards just over $1 up to 1080 and change. And I guess it's still hanging in there. Maybe I'll come back to this at the very end, the BTU trade. All right, let's see what else we got. Markets are up. We love to see that. And with that, we're probably going to find a lot more on the gainer side here, right? I know Fausto is all over the CCL trade earlier today inside our live trading room. And along with that, probably the rest of the cruise lines and airlines and gaming stocks perhaps as well. There's JZXN, not much going on there. MSTR. This is the major Bitcoin ticker, major Bitcoin stock, Michael Saylor, in fact, CEO, and he's one of the big proponents behind the Bitcoin wave over the last year and a half. All right, we'll hop over to the losers list. Maybe there's just a lot more, but not up as much as, number 49, 11+%. But we'll see what's on this side of the field. My OEG, this was actually from yesterday. I had this from $4 as a nice slingshot trade, and left a lot of money on the table, got to say there. But the big drop in pre-market, I'm just going to play around while I have the chance. We do have class coming up at 3:05 Eastern time. I'm making good with my time here. I actually caught my breath, so I'm happy that you folks don't have to hear me wheezing and coughing every 5 seconds here. But unfortunately, OEG, the news that came out early in pre-market, it's exactly what I thought. It's in relation to a direct offering. So a $36 million or $38 million registered direct offering. They listed the shares at $365 per share. It's actually still a few cents above that listed price right now. But either way, we're not going to trade this at all. Normally when offerings come out, it makes it just untradeable for the day. Yeesh, bunch of stuff hard to borrow on the losers list. I mean, really, everything's hard to borrow on the loser side outside of this APRE trade. And I gotta say, this is also one of my better trades from the morning. I ended up getting in from 5, very similar to the OEG actually, and ended up making a similar move. All right, so folks, let me know if there's anything else that you see that's up, down, left, right, more than that famous 5% that I ask. I'll check out the side list stocks just at first. UAL, not really looking that great, actually, in relation to the indices. And CLH hanging in there near the highs, holding under 26. Fausto's CCL, practically the same move. Daniel saying AMC is moving right now, or N/B. So we were talking about this going into the afternoon meeting. I typed this in our live trading room, and this was when AMC was right around 41.30-ish or 41.40-ish. And just at that point, you figure it's going to make the move to 41. I saw Skip. He was in. Wow, Skip, you had a huge profit, man. Got out a little too soon. Oh, no. Actually, let's see. Skip was in from 41.33 practically at the time that I was saying that. I don't know exactly the time of his entry, but 41.33 he entered short inside our live trading room, out at 40.76. Made a nice trade there, Skip. Very nice job. I mean, hey, AMC is a pretty expensive stock, so, all of us, I mean, we're not trading the stock on as many shares as we would have, let's say, I don't know, just even Canon. Canon's a lot cheaper, a lot more liquid. It's a lot easier to read. I'd feel a lot safer trading more shares of Canon compared to AMC. I was trading AMC on 250 shares earlier. That's a quarter-sized position for me. So, as long as we're able to get in and out, it's not going to be the biggest money maker on the day, unless if you're trading a lot of shares. NSPR from Dan on YouTube. We got 2 Dan Fs. That's pretty interesting. Daniel F, then Dan F. Dan F, talking about the NSPR trade, asking about it. New high of the day right now. It's up 32%. Was probably climbing up the gainers list as we were going down from there. So, yeah, it's at the highs. I'll definitely put it on our list. Wish there was more volume on the book here. Tight spread, not too big, but the orders are really scarce across the bid and the ask. And the stock's routed through NASDAQ too, so that's a little concerning, to be honest. All right, folks, I think that's just about it. That's all I got. And I saw NSPR actually on Benzinga before I saw Dan's post. So, that looks pretty good. I'm getting a new ping right now on Benzinga, XAIR, Zaire as I'll probably nickname it. But this one is breaking higher as we speak. If I'm putting the NSPR on, I may as well put XAIR on itself. I don't know if they're related. I doubt it. But, both are at the highs, moving up nicely. Why not? All right, I'll tell you, folks, I think we're going to call it. We got about 15 minutes left before class starts. I know that Rich is going to post the link, repost the link that is from the live trading room, so you folks can get in there early. Make sure the tech side of things is all worked out on your end, the computer, the audio, etc. And I'll be in there in the next 5 or 10 minutes myself to get my final prep in. For all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, as always, I appreciate you sticking with me each and every day, each and every afternoon. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, that icon on our YouTube channel, that being youtube.com/cybertradingyou. I got a call out here at the buzzer. We're going to count it. We'll call it here. The bucket went in before the shot clock went off. So AEHR, I got a private chat from one of us right now asking if this looks good. It's a former runner. We ended up trading this back on Monday, ended up dumping off yesterday, but today, as you can see right now, new HOD as well. And yeah, I mean, I'll add this too. The AEHR stock. I was looking for a short on this earlier today as it made a lower high, and I was a little late to the draw. I got it right here and dipped. I thought it was going to look good. Ended up popping higher. I took a 3-cent hit, which is fun. But folks, that's just about it. So again, I appreciate you sticking with me each and every afternoon. If you've yet to join us live inside our trading room, I'm speaking to all of us on Facebook Live and YouTube right now. Make sure to go right down to the link on the banner below just to get yourself started on a small trial. But otherwise, for all of us there right now, I know that Rich will resume the audio commentary right at 3 o'clock as I'm teaching. And most of us, I know that will be in that class at least. So I look forward to seeing everyone there. I'll talk to you soon.